if you have a hard time speaking up for yourself, your throat chakra is most likely blocked. Root, the sacral, the solar are the first three. They are the more primal energies. They're more connected to our physical body. So most of the time, generally, most people do not overcome or open or activate past their sacral and solar plexus chakra. The next day, guess what? Because she blocked her throat chakra, her throat was sore and her tonsils had swollen. When we have physical manifestations of dis-ease in our body, it's because there's some type of energy blockage. Period, point blank. Welcome back to another episode of Here We Grow, where we are growing for real and not for show. I'm your girl, your host, Kiki. You already know. And this is my beautiful mommy. Please say hello. You already know. Thank you. Thank you. So, we're getting into the good stuff now, guys. We've had 6 months of introductions and 6 months of just giving you the space to kind of understand my thought process, understand the point of Here We Grow as a brand, and the type of conversations, the type of energy that I would love for not only myself, but for those that I encounter, for those who watch my episodes to vibrate on, or at least try to become aware of, having the exposure to different ways of living, different ways of thinking. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about chakras. Chakras, y'all. Like, I'm super duper excited to talk about chakras because when I first started my journey of like spirituality, or really becoming awakened because we're all spirits. Okay, so that's a term I'm learning recently. Like, it's not that you choose spirituality over religion. You just recognize yourself as a spirit first, and you are basically coming back home to your spirit, or coming back home to the awareness of your spirit, right? So, we're going to talk about the chakras. So, first of all, let me back up. So, chakras are the energy centers that are present in our bodies. Everyone has them, okay? There are, give me 1 second, guys. So I'm trying to get like more detailed information to make sure that I am not giving you misinformation. If I am, I'm a human, so I'm only going off of what I learned and what I'm learning. Okay. Oh, wait a second. So, one more question. So, energy chakras are the energy centers that are present in our body. All right. I have found before that there are like over 100 energy centers, 100 chakras in our body that we don't even know about, that kind of govern the entire human body, right? Don't take it to heart, okay? Because I'm not quite sure. That's what I was trying to find here, so that I can just kind of clarify, because I remember reading it somewhere when I was deep into my chakra research. And I just found it said, contrary to general awareness, there are actually 114 chakras in our physical body, connected through 72,000 energy pathways known as nadis. Okay, so there are 114 chakras. That's a lot of chakras. We're not going to talk about all 114, okay? We're going to talk about the 7 chakras that we are all familiar with. And if you're not familiar with them, this is what Here We Grow is for, baby. We're going to get really basic into this information because I don't want to lose you, and I want to keep you engaged, and I want to keep you here, okay? So, 7 energy chakras. If you have heard about them, if you've known about them, learned about them, then you're already familiar with it. Okay, so we're gonna start with the root chakra. Okay, the root chakra is located at the base of our spine. Okay, so if you look at your back turn, like you turn your back at the base of your spine, your root chakra is right there. Okay, and it's symbolized as the color red, or the color red is the representation of the root chakra. Okay, then you have the sacral chakra. Okay, the sacral chakra, if I'm not mistaken, is located in your like sexual reproductive, under it's like under the rib cage, not the rib cage, but it's located by your sexual reproductive system. Okay, it governs your reproductive system and your sexual reproductive system, and it is usually shown as the color orange. Okay, so let me back up. So with the root chakra, it's red, it's located at the base of your spine, and these are the affirmations that people use when they say I am. Okay, I am. And so with the root chakra, you are it talks about things like safety, stability, protection, groundedness. Okay, sacral chakra, okay, it's located in your reproductive system, in your belly. It is orange. The color is orange. It's I feel affirmations. And so this talks about whether or not you're blocked. If you're not blocked, you feel creative, you feel passionate, you receive pleasure, you're sensual, you're in touch with your sensuality, right? So that chakra governs that. Then you have the solar plexus. You move on up. The solar plexus is located in your like abdomen area, like right here. Yeah, so you guys look this up. I'm gonna actually put a picture so you guys can see with different representations, so you know you can visually see it if you don't feel like looking up at this exact moment. And the solar plexus talks, it expands on the affirmations I do. Okay, that color is like a yellowish color, and this is about willpower, having the willpower and having the ability to do something, not necessarily complete it, but have the energy, have that that will to do. Okay, and it talks about strength, personality, power, and determination. So this is your own ability to know if you're powerful, if you're determined, if you can be consistent. Do you have the strength to do these things? Okay, then we have the heart chakra. Okay, so the first three, the root, the sacral, the solar, are the first three. They are the more primal energies. They're more connected to our physical body. So most of the time, generally, most people do not overcome or open or activate past their sacral and solar plexus chakra. Okay, because many of us are still connected to different stories, to different ways of being, different mentalities. Just our nervous systems have been hacked, and therefore many of us don't move past the first three chakras. Okay, I know it sounds like a little depressing, but it's not. It's just the general truth, and that's just because that's the work that you have to put in, right? So the first three are more basic. They're the more your human ego. That's it. The first three is the human ego, honestly. Okay, and then the heart chakra is located in this space, right? Your chest area. It's symbolized with the color green, and it expands, or you can use it with the affirmations I love. Okay, and it talks about acceptance, love, compassion, sincerity. Okay, I would even say forgiveness would be perfect right here as well, because it's all connected to love. And so the heart chakra is smack dab in the middle of the three bottom chakras. Okay, your bodily chakras, and then the three mind chakras. Okay, or your three more spiritual, intangible chakras. Okay, and so then we move up to the throat chakra. All right, it governs communication, expression, creativity, and inspiration. Okay, big on the throat chakra. The color is usually shown with blue, and it says I talk, or I express. Those are the type of affirmations that you can use. Okay. And then we're moving on to the third eye chakra. Okay. So the third eye chakra is located right here, the middle of your head. I know you guys probably have heard about this a lot. This chakra is right here. It's called, it governs your intuition, your lucidity, your meditation, and trust. All right. Faithfulness. And this chakra talks about or gives you more understanding about how to use the affirmations I see. Okay. You can even say I trust, things of that nature. We're going to get deep more into these later on, but I just want to give you some type of understanding. And so I'm getting the colors not mixed up, but the throat chakra is like a light blue color, and then the third eye chakra is like a dark blue color. I would say like royal blue maybe. I'm not a color master, okay? So that might not be the right word, but it's darker. It's a darker shade of blue, okay? And then we have the crown chakra, which is located right here, all right? And it's purple, and it governs knowledge, consciousness, fulfillment, and spirituality. And it says, I understand, I connect, right? And that is, I said purple already. So those are the biggest chakras. I don't want to say biggest, but those are the main chakras that we are familiar with as humans. The ones that many of us, when we become awakened, or when we realize how we have, or how closed off our energy is, we usually start working with these, okay? They're the general ones for us. So what I want to do for the next couple of episodes, not every episode, because obviously I'm still going to be doing other work, bringing guests on, and just still showing and bringing up conversations that, I'm interested in and feel that are important to talk about. But expect to see an expansion about these different chakras, okay? Because this was very vital for me when I started when I started becoming more awakened and more aware of my energy centers. And just to give a little backstory, it was like in 2020 during COVID, the world was shut down. It was silent. We never were taught how to really sit still. So this was important for me. I realized I was depressed in 2020. After I got my bachelor's degree, I did not want to go to school anymore because the veil was lifted in the sense that I realized that I didn't have the vocabulary for it then, but I realized that this is not real, because there's no way that I'm literally about to graduate, walk across the stage, and this pandemic is happening and the whole world has completely changed and shut down. And not saying obviously the pandemic was something that was traumatic for many of us, and it was a very serious time of our lives, but it just made me realize, I didn't have to do a lot of things after that because everyone was just so overwhelmed and life had just changed so drastically. And so I realized that you can't really bet on physical things and things of the world because you really don't have any control over them. And so that's when my awakening started, and I became depressed, baby. I mean, depressed. I did not care about going to graduate school. The only reason why I went to graduate school was because I got a scholarship and they gave me a job and I got somewhere to stay. So it just all worked out, and it was just the path that leads resistance. We'll talk about that one day as well. But it was just the path that leads resistance, and I didn't know what else to do, and I needed something to kind of keep me going along so that I wouldn't fall so deep into my depression. But yes, so I'm excited about this. I feel like you guys, this is the core of you recognizing and claiming yourself as a spirit and seeing and reclaiming your power. This is the core of reclaiming that power. And so when you see this, before you see me again for the next week, I want you to really think about what energy center do you think, where do you think that this energy like it's blocked. Like, which center do you think is blocked? Okay, so when I started, I'll give you an example. I realized that my root chakra was blocked, my throat chakra was blocked, my heart chakra was definitely blocked. I was blocked overall. Okay, but I did a little deeper digging to kind of like, I thought I was blocked, right? But I did some deeper digging, and I went into my human design and got a human design chart, and I saw, like, just initially what did they look like for me when I was born into this physical realm at this particular time, what was actually happening with my energy centers. And so yes, we'll get into that. I know that's a lot, so I don't want to dig too deep, but they gave me more clarity about more work or what I needed to work on as far as activating all of my energy chakras, energy centers, which I have not done, by the way. It's a work in progress. But I'm aware of a lot of more things, right? So I just want you to just take this week, and I want you to think about, like, hey, like, where do I feel like I'm blocked energetically? And this is very clear. I'll give you another example with the throat chakra. If you have a hard time speaking up for yourself, your throat chakra is most likely blocked. If you always have strep throat, right? This is a physical manifestation of a blocked chakra. My sister one time was dealing with, she deals with her tonsil swelling a lot. And one day she said that, so she initially told me that she needed to tell somebody something, but she refrained. She did not. The next day, guess what? Because she blocked her throat chakra, her throat was sore, and her tonsils had swollen. And so, not saying that that's always the case, but I'm pretty confident that usually, all the time, when we have physical manifestations of dis-ease in our body, it's because there's some type of energy blockage. Period, point blank. Okay. So I want you to think about that. And I want you to come back and keep that, whatever ones that you feel like are the most blocked for you. And, just keep an open mind throughout this entire process, right? Because you might realize that in some places you are more blocked than you thought you were. You may need to do a little bit more work there. So we're going to go through all of these chakras one by one, just to kind of talk about them. Examples of what blockages look like, examples of practices and tools that you can use to kind of open these things up or even activate them, things that I have done that have worked, or that just made you feel more comfortable, okay, or made you feel less dense, right? Because when you're stuck into those bottom three chakras, that's when you feel heavy, that the world is hard, that everything is so negative, and you're just irritated all the time. And trust me, I'm still moving and flowing through those things as well. But it doesn't mean that you can't get through them and surpass them and start the connections, right? So I hope this is interesting to you. It's so interesting to me. And I just also, disclaimer, I am not a metaphysician. I am not a master at this. I'm simply a student who wants to become a teachable master, or just a constant teachable student, because every time we learn something, we realize that we didn't know anything at all. And so learning this information, becoming more aware of who I am on a larger scale, a grander scale, on the universal scale, I realized that I actually don't know anything. So to me, growing and evolving and expanding means always be willing to learn, and always being able to revise certain things that you learn. Because sometimes you'll learn things and then you'll be like, hey, I learned something else and this makes more sense for my reality, so I'm going to switch to that. And that's okay too. And sometimes you might see me do that. I might backtrack and say, hey, you remember I said this? I no longer align with that anymore. I'm aligning here right now. So just keep in mind, stay open-minded. If you're not familiar with these information, if you're big into like Christianity, certain religions, and you feel like this is witchcraft, this is not the episode for you. Okay. This might just be something that it might not be your time right now. And that's okay, But I've heard that there are energy chakras, energy centers being discussed in the Bible before. So that might be a personal task for myself, so I can find that information, bring it to the forefront to show that regardless that we are and we have these separate religions, that at the end of the day, the core of them is the same. And it's all about the spirit. It's all about becoming aligned, becoming balanced as a human, right? Becoming our highest potential. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? That's it. So I'm excited. Don't forget, if you want to talk or see me talk about certain things on this podcast, or if you're interested about having like a certain guest on, if you want to be a guest on here, you can always comment under the comment section, or you can DM me if you are on my social media sites. My TikTok is at Key Answer, and then my Facebook is at Key Answer Burge, which is my YouTube channel name, I think. So I think we're good all across the boards. So if you're interested, hey, if you don't want to, you're good. We're rocking and rolling. We're going to keep on talking, keep on evolving, keep on expanding, baby. Keep on growing, right? Thank you so much for spending another day, some more time with me at Here We Grow, where we are growing and evolving one day at a time, one step at a time, and one moment at a time. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.